friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. Let's take our family photos and turn them into snow globe shaker ornaments. This is all cardstock. You do not need a fancy laser cutter to make beautiful one-of-a-kind ornaments. Look at how stinking cool. We are going to take and remove the background of our pictures that we are wanting to use, and we are going to put them into a snow globe shaker ornament. This thing has some movement in there. You can see the background. I've done a completely clear snow globe, just like what a regular snow globe would be. That's what I've created today, using just cardstock and a little bit of acetate. Well, this right here, I actually used vinyl too, because who wants to glue that? That's really small. But isn't this so cute? So we're going to be using Cricut Design Space for this project, and I'm actually going to be using a website to remove the background, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But all you're going to need for this project is some cardstock that you're going to find in my cardstock warehouse. You're also going to want to pick up an SVG file that I've created in that cardstock warehouse. Then you're just going to need a family picture. Any family picture that you would like, or any picture that you would like. That's all you're going to need for this. You're going to need a Cricut and a website. Are you ready? It's going to be so easy. It's so easy and so much fun. Let's get started. For the very first thing for this project, you want to find the photo that you plan on using for this project. That said, any type of photo edits like lightening, darkening, changing the color, all of those types of photo edits you need to do before going forward in this. If you like the way that it looks, well, like in the raw form, then you don't have to do it. I'm just mentioning this because you're not going to be able to edit the color and stuff like that in the steps that I've shown you. Okay, there are two ways to go about doing this. One way is just to stay in Cricut Design Space, and I'll show you that. If you wanted to just stay in Cricut Design Space, you would go over into Upload and Upload Image. Then what you would want to do is find your family photo, drag and drop it into Cricut Design Space. You're going to want to click Complex and then press Continue. There is this button right here that says Automatically Remove Backgrounds. You're just going to want to click that. Now, I generally never go this route. It is very rare that I just click that. Now, for this particular photo, I've done a lot of edits to it, and so I am going to get crisper lines, but most of the time, when I do the automatic background, it gives me very jagged lines and not crisp cuts. The other thing too is sometimes your pictures are going to be so large, megapixels or whatever it is. The file is going to be too large. And when you go into Cricut Design Space, what happens is like it'll say, oh, the file's too large. It can't remove the background, blah, blah, blah. So I generally don't ever even use this function. This is not something that Ashley Falco likes the feature of. So what I do is I'm going to press cancel, and I'm going to pull up a window in Safari. Any internet browser you're using, just pull it up. And I'm going to go with remove.bg. This right here is my tried and true website. I absolutely stinking love it. And by the way, it's free. That's right, it is absolutely free. Okay, so all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna find my family photo and I'm gonna drag and drop it into the website. It's gonna do its little magic. Now, let's go back over into what Cricut Design Space, I should have not even exited out. We'll go into Upload. I'm gonna do all the steps that we did. Okay, quality difference. Let's zoom in on this. Do you see that in between my daughter and my husband, you can still see the blue of the water and in between his legs and stuff? And it looks like right here, you can see the background of that, right? Let's go over into the remove background. I'm gonna go over here into edit and let's zoom in. You don't see any of the blue. See how this thing is way more intuitive than any other website or anything like that. So if there are things that you still wanted to delete from the picture, let's say that this actually still needed some edits, all you would want to do is go into edit and you would come over here into the erase and restore button. They have this magic thing. I always turn it off. And then you could erase, or we can just go undo, or you can even restore. So if it took away too much, You could even restore some of whatever it is that you're wanting to restore. That said, if you click out of this box, all the edits that you have done will be forever gone. So do not close out of it. When you're happy with what you've now edited, all you want to do is press download and then download image. It's going to go back into your downloaded folder. Now, what you're going to be able to do is go back into Cricut Design Space. So we're just going to go back over into upload and upload image. And I'm going to find that new file that I created, drag and drop it in. You're still going to want to hit complex and press continue. And everything here is exactly, we don't have to do any edits. If you go over here into preview cut, we have nice, clean lines around everyone. There is not any jagged edges. It is definitely a world of difference if you did this in Cricut Design Space. Here, let me open up a new canvas and I'll show you, just so we can do apples to apples comparison. Okay, so this is the one that I just edited on Cricut Design Space. We will do preview cut and let's zoom in. Do you see how around my head, around my husband's head, it's really jagged, like very jagged. Okay, so that is the difference between a good cut and a bad cut. You're gonna see that there's not a whole lot of jaggedness around any person in this photo. It's nice, clean, and smooth. The cleanliness of your lines definitely matters when you go to cut. A lot of times what happens is Cricut users are complaining that their cuts didn't come out well, or there's some jaggedness to their cuts, and they blame the computer or the Cricut. It might not necessarily be the Cricut. It might actually be that your original whatever it is that you were doing had some jagged lines into it. So it definitely matters. See this jaggedness in there? That's gonna make my Cricut blade do this as it goes to cut. And this is going to be nice and straight, so you're gonna have like a nice straight line. All right, let's just exit out of that. We don't want that anymore. Okay, when we have this done and we like the way it looks, remember we imported this from the Remove Background website, so we're not gonna have to do any edit work for it. We're just gonna press apply and continue. And then we're gonna go over into the print then cut image. You can rename this if you want, I'm not going to. Okay, the very next thing is you are going to want to upload that snow globe ornament that I've already created in my cardstock warehouse. So you just want to press upload, find that downloaded file, and just drag and drop it into Cricut Design Space. I've already named it snow globe ornament for you, then you just want to press upload. Okay, we are going to click on the snow globe ornament that we just uploaded. We're also going to click on that family picture that we were working on, and then press add to canvas. Okay, if you wanted to, you could resize your snow globe ornament. I think I want to make it just a little bit bigger this time, so I'm going to do 5 inches. Now what we want to do is Command, Shift, and G. We want to ungroup this. Where did my stuff go? There it went. Okay, so in this project, and let me just duplicate this. You don't have to duplicate. I'm just going to show you the layers. So in this project, we have the very front piece. Then we have what's gonna hide the ugly piece, is what I like to call it. We have a sheet of acetate right here. And we have these things right here. I like to call them donuts. And the donuts, there's 4 of them. They're gonna house not only our picture, but also our shaker elements. So like your glitz, your glam, your glitter, your snow, whatever it is that you're using, the donuts are gonna house that stuff. Now, that being said, I know people use foam for this, like foam strips. I am not the person that loves using foam for any shaker. The reason for that is you're gonna be able to see the foam, and if you don't glue them correctly or place them correctly, you're gonna be able to see that. And frankly, the side look still matters in my opinion, and it's not very cute. But if you do layers of cardstock, this right here looks seamless on no matter what side you are using or looking at your ornament. The sides matter to me. Okay, so I'm going to be doing donuts. Now, if you do not want to do the donuts, you can just delete all of this and then use the foam if that's what you wanted to do. We're not going to do that for me. The other thing, in the file that I've released on my cardstock shop, this right here I have also set to white. And I've now since changed it that we want to do acetate for this because we want to be able to see through the entire file. So I've already chosen this blue color for our acetate. So we're going to click that very back piece and we are going to come up here into this like white, this milky white color. And all you want to do is change it over into light blue. So if you haven't already, this right here is your original file because I did say you don't have to duplicate this. So in your original file, you just want to scroll down until you see this very gray back piece right here. And we're just going to click on it and do the light blue. So now you're going to have two things of acetate, a bunch of donuts. You're going to have a shiny silver front piece. We're going to change this over to silver here in a second. But then this is going to be our very, very front piece. All right. So let's edit our photo a little bit. Now we can delete this. I've explained all those layers to you so we know exactly what we're doing. We're going to bring this over here and let's zoom in. I don't want to resize my ornament anymore, so I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, we have zoomed in. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my family photo and I'm going to resize this, making sure that this lock right here is locked. Don't unlock that because you are going to distort the people in your photos. So you want to make sure that this is locked and we are just going to resize this. Now, everything that is inside this silver circle or this like half circle, that is what you're going to be able to see when we're done and we're finished assembling this project. So we're just going to resize this. Now, if I made the photo this big, my son right here, he's not going to be able to be seen through that silver. So we just want to make sure that everyone that's in your photo can be seen. Okay, we want to place it wherever you would like. I think this is good. Okay, it is large and in charge and definitely way bigger than what I need it to be. So all I'm going to do is selecting my picture. I'm going to press shift on my keyboard. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click this light blue half circle that's supposed to be acetate thing. So I'm going to click both of those. I'm going to let go of my keyboard and I'm going to Command D, which is duplicate. Okay, this right here is going to pop up. Let's just drag this over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to press slice. Okay, so I'm going to delete this bottom part. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to delete this right here. I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to take my family photo. I'm just going to drag it down here. Now this right here, I'm going to delete because I don't need it. And actually, let's reverse here. So do you see that we have in that cut file, we have like a cutout here and a cutout here. Unfortunately, when you upload a print then cut feature, you do not get this contour button. But I actually don't want those small little holes because it is going to tear my photo when we go to cut this. Remember, we're not gonna blame the Cricuts for bad cuts because technically those little things right there is going to make a difference in your file. So instead of deleting this, what I'm going to do is, because this is set to a cut, see how it's set to cut right here? I'm going to come down here to contour and I'm going to hide all contours. And then I'm just going to exit out of it. Just click out of it. Okay, selecting both of my photo and that weird milky blue color. I'm just going to align this to the center. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press flatten. Now it looks like you did absolutely nothing, but I can tell you that you just removed those small little holes in that picture. And so now you're gonna have just a cutout that goes around myself, my husband, my daughter, my best friend, her husband. We're just gonna have one clean cut going around everything versus like going around everything and then two small little cuts that'll end up making you mad when you go to cut this because it snags your paper. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this photo right here and I'm just gonna put it over here. This is optional, you definitely don't need to do that. I'm just gonna line it back up with my original photo. I'm gonna click my original photo and just delete it. Isn't that so cute? We have now almost inserted our family photo inside the snow globe, and it's absolutely adorable. Okay, the other thing too is I want to hide the ugly. I'm all about hiding the ugly, and I want the back portion of my snow globe tumbler to also have a little bit of silver to hide all of the acetate and the glue marks and stuff like that. So I'm going to click on the very back light blue piece that is going to be acetate. I'm going to Command D, which is duplicate. You actually want a second one of these right here so we can see all the way through. So what you want to do is you're going to click on the very front gray piece and you're going to Command D, which is duplicate. And then we are going to come over here and to flip horizontally. Okay. Now, the very next thing that you're going to want to do is just insert a text box, and you're going to want to put anything on here. So if you have a name that you want to do, a year, I'm going to do family vacation, making sure everything is spelled correctly. Okay, now you want to do is come up here into font. This box is going to pop up. Sometimes it's over here, sometimes it's over here. Just know that we can move this around. The hardest part of any project is picking your font. I can promise you that. It is the most time-consuming thing in the entire project of anything that you do. So all you want to do is find your favorite font. I don't have one, so it's going to take me a minute. Oh, I'm going to do this one because it has little hearts on it. Which one did I use? I used DTC Honey Syrup, and it's a Cricut Access font. When I have that done, I'm going to change this over into the silver as well because I want to match it all. In my original one, I also have it all matching. The front is matching to this right here. So I'm going to keep it all in the matching. Then I'm going to select this right here. Now the spacing of the lines is kind of thick. So I'm just going to come down here to the line space and I'm going to just make the lines smaller. And then all I'm going to do is just make this smaller, and I want to fit it inside this area right here. Okay, so I have now respaced this just the way I want to. Now I want to do red. I really love how the red just pops on here. Okay, so I'm going to come up here into color and then do red. That's it. That was your design. Once you got that done, it may look like nothing, but I can promise you right now it is going to be absolutely fabulous when we get to the assembly of this. Now all you want to do is just press make, and I'm going to come down here. My material size is set to 11 by 17. I definitely don't need it that large. So I'm going to go down here to 8.5 by 11. Depending on the size of the ornament that you've chosen to make, I'm only going to need one sheet of cardstock or white cardstock. I'm going to need a small little sheet of silver, a little bit of red vinyl, and then a small little piece of acetate. Now, I wanted to know about acetate. If you don't have acetate, but you have clear transparencies, that'll work. The other thing too is if you have a brand new Cricut mat, you know the clear thing that comes off the Cricut mat, that's also acetate. So you don't have to go out and buy anything. You can just use the covering because I never use them. After I peel it, I never put it back on. So if you have that clear stuff from your mats, go ahead and go ahead and just cut that up. Little money saving hack for you. Okay, now all I'm going to do is turn on my Cricut. Okay, we are going to send this to the printer. Okay, I personally am going to be using high gloss cardstock for my print then cut. It probably isn't necessary because we're putting, like a clear shiny acetate over the top of it. But I think the print quality for photo paper is just so much better. So that's what I'm going to be using. Okay, so if you're also using high gloss cardstock, I know the Cricuts don't generally like to read the registration marks with high gloss cardstock. Okay, there is one thing that I strongly suggest you doing, and that is digging through your crayons and just grabbing a white crayon. I can tell you this crayon has lasted me many years. And all you're going to do is you're going to take this white crayon and you want to rub it on your registration marks. Now, what you're doing here is you're just taking out the gloss, and so the Cricut's going to be able to read your registration marks. Now, there are people that suggest you using Scotch tape for this. Scotch tape can get expensive, and I mean, if you're doing a lot of print then cuts, it can get expensive, and I can tell you that this right here, this small little crayon, has lasted me years. It looks like nothing, But honestly, it makes the world of difference because it just takes the shine off the actual line so your Cricut can read it. Okay, then we're just going to roll this onto our mat. Then I'm just going to press the fast cut mode on my Cricut Design Space and then press that C button. Okay, I'm going to eject my print and cut. Now look at how clean that cut is. Looks absolutely amazing. And here's the finished cut. Do you see how this, like, there's no small little tags on there? Ooh, my mat was dirty. That's okay. We're going to hide that anyways. Do you see how all my lines are nice and clean and cut perfectly? It's exactly what we wanted. Those are just the perfect little steps that you should take to get clean cuts like that. Then what you want to do is cut the rest of your material out and then come back to me. We'll assemble this together. Okay, now that we have everything cut, we can just take the acetate off our mat. Okay, we have our piece of vinyl right here. All you want to do is weed out your vinyl, taking out what you do not want. Okay, then we're just going to weed out the middle parts of all of our letters. Look at that small little heart that's right there and right there. Those things are so teeny, but I'm so glad that the Cricut was able to cut those. Oh my gosh. Now that hard part is over. Wasn't very hard actually. I'm just gonna be using a scrap piece of transfer tape. Transfer tape is reusable, y'all. So if in fact you have already used transfer tape before, save it, because if it's still sticky, it will still work. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is taking that very front piece that's right here. It's easiest to do it before we glue anything together. Got it like this. I'm just going to take my vinyl decal and I'm just going to burnish it a little bit, flip it over, and I'm going to take off the white backing of my vinyl just like that. Okay, so here is my very front piece. We're going to take that, roll it over, center it on there. Okay, doing the same thing. I'm just going to burnish it on there. Look at that. Do you see that? And those little hearts stayed on there. It's going to be so reflective. My mirror silver cardstock is absolutely, it's so mirror-like. It honestly, you could see myself in it. Hello. Look at how, like, the reflectiveness is this amazing. The other thing too is that it's white, so it's beautiful. Okay, so for the assembly, what you want to do is take this one right here and we're just going to flip this over. You are going to want to take your clear acetate sheet, the one that's full, the entire full thing, and you're going to want to glue this on top of this. Now I am using the silicone glue for this. It is a gap filler. It's very important because you want to make sure that we're going to house all of our glitter and you don't want your glitter to fall out. So this right here, if you've missed a little bit of glue somewhere in the drying process, it does end up gap filling in, so then your glitter will not fall out. So I am just going to put some glue onto the entire back. You definitely don't want a whole lot of glue because then it's going to, you know, go over into your project and you don't want that. So just use the smallest amount of glue as possible. It is going to be hard to see because it is clear. Okay, then what you want to do with clean fingers, make sure you have clean fingers for this. You want to lay this clear acetate on top of that very back donut, making sure it's lined up perfectly. And you just want to press in ever so lightly just so we get a good suction between the layers. Okay, doing the same thing that you've done before with this back thing, we are going to take our donuts. We have 4 donuts. I am going to add in the silicone glue to every single donut on the back. Doing the same thing. We don't want a whole lot of glue. We just want enough good adherence of layers. Lining this up and laying it down. You want to make sure that, one, you have clean fingers because you don't want to touch the inside of this acetate and leave glue marks. The other thing too is that you don't want to use a whole lot of glue so it doesn't go everywhere. And that's why you're using silicone glue, because then it becomes a gap filler in the drying process. Alrighty, so we're gonna let that just dry for a second. We have our layers nice and glued on there. Pinch it just to make sure that we have a good suction between the two. If you have glue that's like coming out, you can just rub your finger on it just to get that glue off. Okay, let this dry. I'm going to use the same glue that I've used for everything else. And we're just going to put a little bit on the very back of the very front piece and lay this in there. Okay, so for this, I am just going to lay this into my snow globe. You're going to remember that we have created this to where it's going to fit nice and snug onto the side edges of our snow globe. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this up. Now, I am only going to need glue on these corners right here and then down at the legs. So I'm going to be using my cardstock glue for this. And I'm just going to add glue to the sides right here and then on the bottoms of our legs. Okay, I'm going to add this back in. Now this is going to be glued on top of my donut, just like that. So I'm just going to be using a different type of glitter than what I originally used. This one has a little bit more finer grit to it. Okay, I am just going to put some in behind our picture. Okay, when we have filled up our shaker, then what you want to do is using your silicone glue. I'm going to put the glue on my donuts. So I'm going to go over my photo, over my donut, back over my photo. The other thing is I'm going to focus on is the very end of that, like the straight spot. Essentially, you're putting glue around the entire perimeter of this like weird clear thing. The reason why I don't do it on top of the this piece of acetate is because you don't want to put too much glue and put it over here. So it's easier if you just do it on here so you know exactly where to put the glue. Okay, we are just going to line the acetate on. Now at this point, you definitely want to press down on all the layers, making sure that we have good glue. You want to hide and secure all of your glitter inside your ornament. You do not want it to fall out. Okay, so we're just going to stick with the same glue that we've been using for essentially the entire project. I'm going to put some silicone glue on the entire project going around the donut. We want to make sure that we don't do too much glue around the donut. And then we want to go around the bottom portion of this. Okay, we just want to lay this on the very top. Okay, do you see that? Look at how cute. We got snow in there, some glitteriness. So cute. Now eventually the glitter is going to come up above your picture, which is exactly what you want because it is like a snow globe. So you definitely want that glitter to fall above your photo. But oh, how cute. And you can see all the way through. So when you put this on your Christmas tree, it's going to look like a real snow globe. Okay, then just to do the finishing touch, you just need a little bit of string. Put it through the hole of your acetate. Be gentle. You definitely don't want to rip your acetate. And there you have it. Your finished snow globe shaker ornament. How stinking cute. Now, you do want to let this dry a little bit. You definitely don't want to tear it apart when it is in the gluing state. So you definitely want to let this dry. But there is your finished snow globe. So on the front, you have it all looking absolutely gorgeous. And if you turn it around, it is going to look absolutely gorgeous. Also from the sides, everything is nice and clean on the sides. This is exactly why I like using the cardstock donuts versus doing the foam, because everything just looks nice, clean, and smooth around all the edges. And then doing that backer thing just like encloses all of everything, all the glue marks. Oh, it just looks absolutely fabulous. Do you love this? I sure hope you make a bunch of these for Christmas gifts or even just for your Christmas tree because I think they're absolutely amazing. All right, y'all, I sure hope I inspired you to create, and I'll see you later.